Super juicy.
Super juicy.
That's super juicy.
We got some friends and family in the house today. We're gonna make ourselves a smoked prime rib, along with a homemade au jus. Check it out, let's go. All right, y'all, we just got done tasting this prime rib. You've gotta watch this video start to end. It is out of this world. Cordell, what's your thoughts?
It was amazing.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, you wanna figure out how to get a super juicy prime rib? Check it out, let's go. All right, y'all, I'm excited for this one. I love a good prime rib. If you guys haven't done a dry salt brine before, stay tuned for that one. We're also gonna tie it up and shape it to the form that we want using a butcher's knot, so stay tuned for that. And we're also going to steam infuse the smoke on our Traeger Timberline 1300 with all kinds of fresh herbs and spices. This prime rib's gonna be off the chain. I'm gonna get everything prepped up and ready to roll. Let's go. All right, you guys, this prime rib looks beautiful. First things first, we're gonna get it seasoned up, and then we're gonna tie it into the shape that we want. For seasoning, all we're gonna do is hit it with a little bit of Lowry's, some MSG, garlic, kosher salt, and pepper. Now, to do a dry salt brine, all that is you're gonna salt the meat ahead of time and let it set in open air in the refrigerator for anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. We're gonna do a 72-hour salt brine, and what that's gonna do is let all that salt and flavor incorporate into the meat and leave the exterior of the roast dry. Now, when the exterior of the roast is dry, the fat will render better, so that way when we go to finish it off at a very high temperature, that fat is gonna get super crispy on the outside, and it's gonna be a perfect medium rare on the inside. Let's get this done. All right, you guys, let's hit this with some Worcestershire. All you need is just a thin layer. Make sure you guys get your edges good. All right, just like that. Next up, MSG. All right, just like that. Let's go with the garlic. Just like that. Salt. We are using a coarse kosher salt. Now, as far as the salt's concerned, you guys really can't get too much salt on this thing. This is a big chunk of meat. All right, just like that. And last but not least, some pepper. Now you'll notice for the pepper, I put a ring of pepper around the meat. That way it's super easy to pepper the sides. Just like that. All right, you guys, I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit here. All right, you guys, now all I did was just repeat the same process for the top of the roast. Let's get this thing tied up, shall we? Oh man, tell you what, just with the spices it's got, it smells great. Now all we're gonna do is get a loop around the roast, and you want it spaced about 1 inch apart. Show you what that looks like. We're also gonna use a butcher's knot to start and end the tying. And I'll show you what that looks like too. All right, for the butcher's knot, all you do is pass under once and then twice. All right, you guys, once you got your first tie done, make sure your knot is lined up center to the roast. And once you got that done, we're going to make a loop. 1, 2, just like that. Pass it under. And just give it a pull. All right. Cool. Now you can kind of see what we're going to end up doing here. I'm going to get the rest of this done, and then I'll show you how to finish it up here. All right, you guys, once you get the top part finished, keep the string centered and flip it over. Now all we're going to do is give ourselves enough line to interlace each string here. And all we're going to do is go over, pull it through. And once again, go over, pull it through. And we're going to do that for the rest of the roast. All right, now that we've reached the end, we're going to flip it back over. And once again with the butcher's knot, 1, 2. And one more knot for good measure. All right, you guys, just like that. All right, you guys, simple as that. We got this thing tied up. It should hold a beautiful shape once it's done smoking. The whole reason we go through this effort. If you don't really care about the shape of it, it's just you and some family, you definitely don't have to do this step. However, I want my prime rib to be beautiful, so I took the time to do this. We're going to set this into the refrigerator uncovered for 72 hours and really let that salt work its way into the meat and embark all that flavor that we added into the meat. I do suggest that you take some paper towels and place it underneath the rack, so that way what juice does drip in your refrigerator hits the paper towel. All right, you guys, I'll see you back in 72 hours. Let's go. All right, you guys, it's been 72 hours. It's time to get this on the smoker. Check this out. So you might notice that we got a beef tenderloin sitting here. That is marinated for 72 hours. Be sure to check out that video. It's going to be off the chain. As far as this prime rib's concerned, we're actually going to use a bed of herbs to steam infuse the smoke within our Traeger. So that way it adopts a ton of amazing flavor. Let me show you how to do that now. All right, so this is pretty simple. We're going to get some garlic. And some fresh thyme. Some fresh rosemary. And some beef stock. And you want just enough to kind of activate and wake up the fresh herbs. Oh man, that smells amazing. Ooh, buddy, it's gonna be good. All right, you guys, let's get this on the Traeger. We're gonna get that roast on the Traeger. And then I'm gonna show you why we have some red wine sitting out. We're gonna make a homemade au jus for our smoked prime rib. Let's go. All right, you guys, this is what it's gonna look like. We're going on a Traeger Timberline 1300, super smoke, hickory pellets, 225 degrees. We're looking for an internal temperature of 124. You can take it up to 129, 131, and kind of land within a medium rare range. However, my personal preference, 124 degrees and let it rest to 129. Now, the way we're gonna set this up is our pan is gonna be on the bottom rack. That way it steam infuses all that flavor into our prime rib, which is gonna sit on the center rack as it smokes. You might notice this delicious bottle of port wine I have sitting here. I'm gonna show you how to make a homemade au jus while this thing's on smoker. Let's go. All right, you guys, let's get this au jus made. First things first, we are going to caramelize some onions. I'm going to show you a pretty helpful trick and tip on how to get these caramelized nice and even. That is about 1.5 cups of onion. I use 2 medium Vidalia onion. 1 very large Vidalia will work just fine. Now the tip or trick that I have is steam the onions a little bit and get them going. It works out a lot faster. A little bit of water like that. Put a lid on it. Come back. All right, you guys, take a look, see what we got. Now they're working on it here. You can see some of them are turning translucent. That's what we're looking for. And then all of the water that we added, it'll evaporate. You can keep adding water as you go, just to keep the browning nice and even. I'll show you a couple clips of what that looks like too. I'm gonna get these to where I want them. Be just a minute. All right, let's see where they're at. There we go. So you'll notice they're all nice and evenly translucent. We're starting to get some browning. It is now time to cook. Lid off. If you notice a little bit of the caramelization sticking to the pan, just add a little bit more water. Now you could see how the color and caramelization is distributing evenly across all of the onions. That's what you're looking for. That's why we use the water. If you've never caramelized onions with this technique before, try it. Works amazing. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get these to the color that we're looking for. Be right back. All right, you guys, when the caramelization is sticking like that, once again, add a little more water. These are just about there, which is great. All right, you guys, you might notice that we're getting a nice, even browning from the caramelization. The reason that they are caramelizing nice and evenly is because we're adding the water. What we're doing is letting the water evaporate, letting the sugars in the onion caramelize, adding more water, evenly distributing that caramelization throughout all of the onions, and repeating the process until we get the color we want. Just about there. All right, you guys, that is the color that we are looking for. It's a beautiful caramelized brown. All right, let's get the rest of these ingredients added in. I am going to use all 4 cups of salted beef stock. Just like that. All right, you guys, we added the 4 cups of beef stock and the 1 1/3 cup of port wine. The ratio is 3 to 1. Let's add a teaspoon of Worcestershire. And I have 3 cloves of garlic. And all we're gonna do is give these a smash because we're gonna strain this when it's done. And speaking of smashing, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button for me. I'd appreciate it. All right, last but not least, some fresh thyme. All right, you guys, now that we got the fresh thyme added, we're gonna let this reduce by half on a low simmer. Show you what that looks like. Be right back. All right, you guys, now that we got the au jus good and strained, we are gonna wait for our prime rib to finish smoking. We're gonna let it rest for about 1 hour. After it rests for an hour, my choice for today is going to be our grill. And we're gonna roll it around on a super hot grill just to render crisp up all that fat on the outside. The other way you can go about it is in an oven with a broiler for about 5 to 10 minutes, preferably on each side. All right, y'all. Took a minute to get here, but this prime rib looks off the chain. Tell you what, I'm ready to taste. What do you think, Cordell?
I think it looks amazing.
All right, y'all, let's give it a go. Boom. Oh man, the smoke. That is delicious. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is super juicy. It fills your mouth with juice. It's good.
Yeah, it is super, super juicy, you guys. Oh man, should we try the au jus?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Cordell, what's your thoughts on the au jus?
Way better. Way better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man, it brings it home. Like just the flavors combined, out of this world. Oh boy. Tell you what, you guys are gonna make prime rib for the holiday? Make this prime rib. You want some au jus? Make this au jus. Don't get it out of a box. This is out of this world. Till next time, ciao. Boys, you wanna try it?
That's super juicy.
It is super juicy, I agree. Coco, what's your thoughts?
Bussin'.
Bussin'? Ooh, buddy, we got a bussin'. All right, ladies and gents, I tell you what, if it's kid approved, you know it's good. Make it for the holiday. Ciao. Good job, boys.
Peace out.